I'm a Westerner, and so there are a few things that are very important to us: our public lands, access to energy, and truly to jobs. And just as an aside, Mr. Holtrop, when I read through your testimony, you noted about the importance and just spoke to it again of public input coming in, and really want to encourage you when you're looking off at closing off some of our forest lands that you do listen to that public testimony, particularly in Colorado. But to the points that we're dealing with in this particular hearing, we have some real confusion, and Mr. Abbey and Mr. Holtrop, if you could maybe answer this. We recently had Secretary Salazar before the Natural Resources Committee. I've been traveling in Colorado, met with BLM officials. They said that when the now defunct wildlands policy was going to be in place, that they were not going to allow lateral drilling. When we spoke to the state officers, they didn't know what the policy was going to be. Then the Secretary indicated that no lateral drilling was going to be allowed. Can you clear this up? It seems to me that we have no basis to make any kind of a determination, and you haven't decided.
Well, thank you for the question. First and foremost, we do not have a wildlands policy at this point in time. We're not pursuing such a policy.
We appreciate that. The
Bureau of Land Management certainly recognizes the importance of horizontal drilling on public lands. It does lessen the footprint of drilling on these lands. It allows more wells to be drilled from a single location than individual wells being drilled vertically down. So I think both the U.S. Forest Service as well as the Bureau of Land Management recognizes the advantage of horizontal drilling. At this point in time, you know, as it relates to the public lands, we will continue to look at all opportunities that we have in responding to requests for applications to drill to see how best we can lessen that surface disturbance. And we'll look at those requests on a case-by-case basis. But as we indicated earlier, there is no ban on horizontal drilling.
When we're talking about the depth, and maybe you can illustrate this for us, how far below the water table does fracking take place? How deep are those wells below the water table?
It could vary from proposal to proposal. Most drilling that's being done using fracking technology is below the groundwater level.
Well below?
In many cases, well below.
Well below.
In the east,
right.
It might not be the case.
Sir, have we ever had any evidence of contamination of the water table from fracking?
The Bureau of Land Management has never seen any evidence of impacts to groundwater from fracking technology, from the use of fracking technology on wells that have been approved by the Bureau of Land Management.
So it appears to be safe.
Well, we've been using that technology for a number of years. As long as we're diligent relative to reviewing the proposals to ensure well casing integrity, to ensure that the design of the wellborns are appropriate, to do the monitoring, working with the states and EPA to ensure that all the necessary permits are required and adhered to. Again, we believe that based upon the track record so far, that it is safe. Great. But that doesn't take away the need to continue to be diligent in reviewing each of the proposals and making sure that appropriate monitoring takes place.
Great. I really appreciate that, to hear the endorsement that it is a safe process. We do have to have the policies in place to make sure that we meet those safety and environmental standards, but it is safe to be able to proceed. So I do appreciate that, Director Abbey. Gentlemen, we still, I've listened to several questions so far, and I don't believe I've actually heard the answer. Have you done a cost-benefit analysis?
An economic analysis is part of the EIS.
It has not been done.
Pardon me?
It has not been done.
There is a draft EIS available for public comment, and it includes a chapter on economic analysis.
Okay, and so that's in progress?
It's available for public review right now.
Okay, great. You know, as we were going through, you're establishing policy, and I think part of the concern is obviously going to be precedent that comes into some consideration here. And both the Forest Service and the BLM are moving under the authority that has actually been granted by the Congress of the United States in terms of the developing of these policies. Would you gentlemen be agreeable to coming back before this committee, the Agricultural Committee, the Natural Resources Committee, before going active with your proposed regulations, to get them back to the authoritative body of Congress for their review before you go active?
Which regulations are you referring to?
Any regulation.
We believe that we have the administrative authority to pursue our own regulations and policies that
Was that granted by Congress, sir?
it would be consistent with the laws that have been granted by.
So would it be appropriate to bring that back to Congress for approval?
We would be happy to report back to you on our plans. I'm not sure we would be seeking approval.
I think that's curious. This body has been elected to represent the people of the United States, and you're acting under the authority of Congress. I think you might want to maybe actually consider allowing Congress to have some actual input as well, ultimately when we get down to some of the regulations. As I think probably every member has heard, we're spending $1.75 billion a year right now in regulatory costs in this country. All regulations are not bad, but I think it would be very appropriate for your consideration to come back to the body that authorized your agencies to be able to review those regulations rather than assuming that you have absolute authority. So I yield back the balance of my time, sir.